Hey there YouTube, Farm Regan here. Welcome back to the channel. So today I decided to turn the camera on for a few minutes and do a short, let me rephrase that, a shorter video on switching one of these tractors over to a 12 volt system from a 6 volt system. This is the, here let me get turned around the right way. This is the 4450. I know the numbers are going to be backwards on your screen, I believe, but this is the big tractor on the farm, the big four-wheel drive tractor. I've had some, I wouldn't say charging issues, but battery issues with this tractor. And it's basically the batteries are toast. And I'm not going to put 6 volt batteries back in there. I've had issues trying to hook up monitors and stuff to this tractor because you need to hook it up to where the 12 volt is on the starter. I'll show you that in a minute. And it's just going to be easier if I change it over to 12 volt. It's very simple to do on these John Deere tractors. I've done it before. Some of you guys probably know how to do it, but for those that don't, here's how I do it. So the first thing you got to do, obviously, is pull off the battery covers so you can gain access at the batteries. Get this panel loose. On my tractor, it has a quick attach loader on it, so you've got this wonderful valve box right here, which makes it impossible or almost impossible to get that panel of the battery box out, which is probably going to be a royal pain. I might actually need to take this piece off to get the battery out. 6 volt system, not exactly sure how it is wired. I'd have to refresh my memory again by looking at the other side, but basically they're hooked up in series. So the one cable is from the positive to the negative, and from the negative to the positive to the negative to here. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that. So with this side of the tractor, the only thing you need to do is disconnect the two battery cables here, the positive, the negative. This stays the negative battery cable because it goes straight to the engine block of the tractor, so this becomes ground. This one becomes the power cable. Now in my case, I think I might need to switch this cable out for a different cable, and I'll show you that when I get to the other side. But this is your positive, and it goes across to your other battery, which is on the other side. So I will take you guys over there now. Okay, so here's the other side. This side, you can see I got this panel, the side panel off that goes here. And I got the top step taken off there. I know it's filthy. We're going to try to do a little bit of cleaning, but it's freezing and everything outside, and I don't really want to get the heated pressure washer drug out of the shop to pressure wash this one little section. So here is the cable. That is going to come from the other side. I don't believe it comes from the other side currently at the moment, but this is the cable, you know, the positive cable that's going to need to travel from the other side of the positive and that battery to here. We need to somehow take it from here to this lug on the starter. That's the positive lug on the starter. And by the way, on these John Deere tractors, this is where 12 volts is. So if you want to hook up your baler monitor or anything else, lights, anything like that, you hook it up at this stud right here. And here's your ground strap for your starter. So this cable now needs to go to ground. So I'm going to work on getting these batteries taken out, and I'll turn the camera back on once I get them removed. Okay, so we got the batteries out. We got the battery cables out. You got to undo this little stud here, which looks like this. I don't know what size it is. I used an adjustable standard metric wrench. And here's the two cables. So what we got to do is, this is the cable that runs over to the other side of the tractor. This cable has to get spliced back here with this cable. This cable has to get joined onto that cable, and then this goes up to the starter. So that's how that has to go. We're probably gonna get some new wire and new fittings and completely build this from scratch. Then what we have to do is we have to get a cable that runs from the ground, or the ground on the battery, to somewhere on this tractor. Where that is, I'm not exactly sure yet. Might try to ground it there. We'll see how that goes. But that's the plan. So I'm gonna go get the batteries loaded up in the truck and go to the parts store, get them swapped out, get some battery cable, and then I will catch back up with you when I have all my parts ready. Okay, so we're back from the parts department. It's actually the next day here. We got a bunch of, shouldn't say a bunch, but we got some snow overnight. And being the tractor's parked outside the shop, that's made it really, really interesting. Tractor got covered in snow and everything. So we're gonna do this part of the job inside the shop. I got the battery lug terminals, the negative and the two positive pieces for the connections. This is something else that I ordered. These things actually work really good for your impact, your little DeWalt or Milwaukee impact. These are for, this is one of these goes to the starter. It's for one of the cable that runs from the starter to the battery. So we got one of those, and then I've got to come up with something different to connect the ground cable to ground on the tractor. I'm not exactly sure yet, but we're gonna go ahead and crimp these on, and I'll show you the crimper that I use to do that. Okay, so the tool that I use, the crimper that I use, I actually have two of these things. One is a larger one that has more dies in it, but this is the one I use most of the time. It is a Temco TH0006. That's the crimper kit. Got it off of Amazon. If I remember right, it was 150, 200 bucks, maybe at the most, something like that. Very good crimper, really, really like it. Have used it quite a bit for building battery cables and such. So how it works basically, let's see if I can do this with one hand. You got your dies here, and I'll show you how to change those out. And you basically pump it up like that. And I don't know if you can see the die coming in like that. And then you just release it and it goes back in. So you can use this thing with one hand. You can use it in really tight areas or whatever. It's a little handheld deal. Really, really like it. Couldn't say enough about it. The dies just come out like that. You just pull them out, switch them out, put the new ones in. So works fantastic. So I'm gonna get this switched around for the battery cable, and then get it stripped, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I got the crimper on here, and got the wire stripped down. I just used a pocket knife for this. Now let me see if I can hold the camera in such a way that, there we go. So we can flip that on there like that. And so that's all ready to crimp now. Okay, so I got the crimper all set up here. So we're just going to pump it up. And I'm just doing this with my one hand. Sorry about the camera angles here. Trying to do this one-handed is not the easiest thing in the world. Okay, there we go. I'm I'm going to do that one more time up here, and we should be good to go. And that is what the finished product looks like when you're done. Now, there might be people that get on and tell me that I might have done something wrong, and I wouldn't mind hearing how you're maybe supposed to do this. I'm kind of self-taught when it comes to this, but I've never had an issue with the crimps that this thing has made. So that's what we're going to roll with here. So I've got a few more to do, and once I get those done, I will come back at you here. So with that other crimper, 2/0's about all you want to crimp with that tool. It will do it, but it's pretty difficult, and then you have a hard time getting the wire out of the dies. This is the other kit that I have. It's got a lot more dies, way bigger unit, handles some really big wire, as you can see. It's once again a Temco brand. I got it backwards. It is a TH0005 kit, and you can see what it looks like with all the dies and whatever. And this was only I think $100 more or something like this. They're very inexpensive for what you get. They're a very good quality tool. Another thing that if you're going to be, get my fingers out of the way, if you're going to be doing any sort of wire work, as far as making battery cables or whatever, you need a way to cut them and cut them cleanly. This is a Temco cable cutter, TH0001. It'll cut up to 4/0. At least that's what it says there. I've cut some really thick stuff with it, as you can tell. It's well used. I have another one that is a very large cutter for cutting like really big copper wire that I've used before. Works fantastic. They're very sharp. The Temco brand I really like, mainly because it's inexpensive, and unless you're doing this every day for a living all day long, you know, working on battery cables or whatever, this is perfectly adequate for the few times that you would need to crimp a battery cable, because those little bolt-on I don't know what you want to call them, battery lug terminals, where they basically it's a terminal like this, and then there's like a piece of flat plate with some nuts that clamps onto the wire. Those work for a very short period of time, and then they start corroding, and you have conductivity issues and corrosion, and they're not a good alternative. So get yourself a crimper like this. You will thank yourself in the long run. So I got all the cables built. Here's the one with the starter. I just reused the old cable. There's nothing wrong with it. It just had the wrong end on it. So there's the end that goes to the starter. Here's the end. Because I couldn't find the right fittings to do what I wanted to do, I manufactured a fitting there, or not a fitting, a terminal. And I just took it, put it in the bench vise, and bent it around the shape that I needed. And then here is the other brand new cable. So we're going to go ahead and get these installed, and then we're going to figure out where we're going to put the ground cable, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we've got the positive cable fished around over to the other battery. It's just sitting there at the moment, so we can figure out what we need to do for the rest of it. Now, the ground cable on this side, we have to figure out where to go with it, because like if you remember a few minutes ago, it was a 6-volt system, so it went from the starter to this terminal to that terminal over, and then the ground was on the other side. We can't do that obviously with the 12-volt system, so that has to go to ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this cable from here, and we're going to run to either that bolt or that bolt for the quick detach loader. So we're going to go ahead and crimp a terminal on that now. Okay, so we're going to do something unconventional here. You're most likely not supposed to do this, But we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna drill this hole out to a 5/8 size hole. That's the size hole that we need to fit over those bolts for the loader frame mount. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. All right, so with some careful manipulation, we have the terminal done. So if you're gonna do this, go very, very, very slow with the drill bit, because it's super easy to catch on, super easy to catch on the edge here and break it and twist it. I've done that before. You don't want to do that, so you just want to go nice and slow, and you can do that. It's not ideal, but you can do that. So we're going to go ahead and get this installed now. Okay, so we've got the negative battery cable run to this bolt here. We've got this cable running from the starter to the battery, because remember, everything on these tractors comes off the starter. Everything comes off the starter for the power. You can see these power cables here. And yeah, that would be the power cable for the system. It goes into this wiring harness and up into the cab. You've got this cable which runs over top of the transmission to the other side of the tractor. I'll show you that in a second. I gave myself plenty of cable here and here. This isn't quite exactly the way I wanted to route it, but I wanted to give myself enough room, because I'm going to keep my eyes open for the fitting that I actually want, or the terminal that I actually want. And when I find it, I will cut these off and recrimp it to the way I want it, because well, I'm not going to have any issues from this. I would prefer it to be a little bit different. I took off the little kick plate on either side of the tractor, so we're going to go ahead and install that, and then we're going to try to fire this beast up. And here's the other side. It's pretty straightforward, nothing fancy. This cable stayed because it connects to the engine block over here. So this cable didn't need to be removed. It just needed to be reinstalled. And then here's our new battery cable that runs all the way over to the other side. And once again, the kick plate here is been taken off for ease of access. This one, because this valve block for the loader is here, this is the only way you can get the battery out. You got to take this kick panel out, because the battery has to come up, and then you can roll it out this way. So that's how it's set up. I'm going to put these panels on, and then we'll fire this thing up. Okay, so it's all done here and buttoned up. I got the two pieces, the one on the other side and this piece put in. Actually, the biggest pain is this panel where they have the AC lines running on these tractors, and the battery box and the gunk that builds up in there. It's a royal pain to get these things back in. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and try to fire this tractor up. Let's see if I can set you guys up to see this thing. There we go. And we'll try firing it up. There we go. All fixed. So there you go, YouTube. That is how I switch one of these tractors over to 12 volt from 6 volt. Is it the right way? I don't know. It's the way I do it, and it's worked on the other tractors that I've done it with. So I'm going to say it's a method that you could use to safely convert one of these tractors to 12 volts. So if you like this sort of thing, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next video.